Moving on, we've got the Metro now, and the Brit Awards were made gender neutral after Sam Smith, the singer, complained that non-binary artists such as themselves were excluded. Now them and they are complaining that the gender neutral awards didn't feature enough women. I'm starting to think that there's no way to make these pronoun people happy, Paul.
This is madness, isn't it? In 100 years, actually, they're going to teach this as an example of when the progressive turkeys started voting for Christmas. Because Sam Smith, this is the story, Sam Smith thinks it's a shame there are no women nominated for Best Artist at this year's Brit Awards. The non-binary songwriter was one of the first musicians to call for the abolishment of gender categories, and this resulted, as we all know, in the Brits taking action last year. So it was the first time that there were no gender awards last year. In fact, actually, I think it became Artist of the Year, which I believe Adele won last year.
Yeah.
But this was last year. They were voting in genders, and then they just called the award something else. This year's the first time it's no gender, and they're voting. It turns out that everyone's voting for their favourite man.
Yeah.
Essentially, and this was always going to happen. The trouble is, if you don't have two...
Are you saying men are better?
Not because men are better, Leo. I'm not saying that. We know the answer. I'm not saying that, but what I am saying is, if you take away all categories, you're just going to vote for your favourite. And if you're, most people's... If you think your first 5 favourite artists now, most of them, historically, are going to be men. And it discriminates against women straight away.
Yeah.
Again.
Well, that's it.
It does seem to be impossible to make. I mean, we've seen Owen Jones, Sam Smith, these people come out and say they demanded a non-binary Brit Awards, and then they were given a non-binary Brit Awards, and then they're like, oh, there's not enough women in it. It's like, well, then we'll have binary sections, and then we're back to where... I mean, what is going to make them happy?
No, well, nothing. That's why they are there and whatever. 12 of 71 artists eligible for the award were female. So, of course, then just statistically, that's the way it's going to work out. Yeah. And then he, she, they, whatever. Sorry, I just don't agree with it as an ideology. I think it's ridiculous.
You don't think Sam Smith is a beautiful...
Non-binary... No, what is they, them? If it can be quantified in any actual way... Which it can't. Yeah, I made this brilliant interview in the Stonewall podcast, and then this they, them was like, okay, well, define it for us. Couldn't do it. Yeah. Like, you're a they, them, and you can't even do it. How are we meant to define it? Yeah. Anyway, the point is...
Sam Smith's pronouns should be darts and player.
Yeah,
or pie
should
and
be
mash.
Keto.
Yeah, he looks like he's going to take on giant haystacks in a wrestling match.
Yeah, no, that's interesting outfits. Look, but that's fine. That's music. When he says here, they say here, when I was young, if I'd seen more queer people at these awards, it would have lit my heart. Excuse me.
Yeah, what
George Michael, Boy George, Elton John, Coolio.
Yeah. Easy.
I mean, this
Liam
is...
Gallagher.
The Gallagher brothers, both of them, all of Blur. I mean, come on, man. How many more gay people do you need?
Yeah, it wasn't exactly, some sort of coal miners award ceremony.
Is anybody out there? Absolutely. And by the way, using the word queer is offensive to a lot of homosexual people.
Well, it seems to be a way that ostensibly straight people can come and steal some privilege points, some oppression points from the LGBTQ community. Yeah. So you see it in comedy. I mean, comedians like Sophie Hagen, she says she's never had a same-sex experience, but identifies as queer.
Never kissed a girl, but I'm queer.
Yeah, and it seems, I mean, at least do something. You've got to put in some groundwork before you start, getting on that acronym.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if not kissing a girl makes you queer, I could be queer.